Go away.
Abandoned buildings often carry an air of mystery, haunted by the ghosts of their past and the stories they have witnessed. But sometimes, what happens within their crumbling walls is far more chilling than we could ever imagine. In this video, we'll explore 5 of the most disturbing abandoned building encounters ever caught on tape. Get ready to be spooked as we delve into the world of creepy urban exploration gone terribly wrong. This chilling video comes from Brendan, the popular YouTuber you may recognize from the channel Uncharted Travel. As you've seen in previous videos, Brendan isn't easily frightened or willing to back down from a challenge. He thrives on adventure, exploring some of the most remote and desolate places in the world, often going alone and at night. While most people would never dare, this is exactly what excites Brendan. It's October 28th, 2022, a cold but sunny autumn day. Brendan starts his journey feeling refreshed and eager, leaving his hotel to visit a much-requested location, an abandoned mine deep in the mountains of British Columbia.
We are headed to film probably one of the most requested videos on my channel, which is Alone, Episode 5. The location that we're going to film is an old abandoned mine, somewhere in southern BC. It's exchanged hands and it has quite a rich history, but it is so far out of the way that I had to take a plane, I had to rent a car, and now I am preparing to do some off-roading and then hike to this location, to which I will hopefully be able to stay the night and complete this new episode of Alone.
He checks in with his viewers, sharing his plan and announcing his challenge to spend the night in this eerie and isolated mine. If you listen closely, you might hear him mention the mine's dark and unsettling history. As we know, places with a long and troubled past often come with strange and terrifying stories, and Brendan is about to experience one firsthand. After driving nearly an hour over rough, unpaved roads, the further Brendan goes, the more impassable the path becomes. Rock slides, potholes, and overgrowth make the journey increasingly difficult. With no phone service in this remote area, Brendan must stay alert.
Oh, that was a bad one. Oh my god. Looks like we're pulling up on the parking spot here. Alright, that's it. It's all on foot from here now.
As he parks his car, he begins the final leg of his journey on foot, a challenging 2-hour hike in the blazing sun.
Beginner hike. Almost with a straight vertical climb. I'm hoping this is A, the right way, and B, not the whole way up like this.
The trail seems endless, and Brendan makes a few wrong turns along the way. After 2.5 hours of trekking through the rugged terrain, he finally reaches the old abandoned mine. Because the hike took longer than expected, nightfall has already begun to set in. Brendan quickly starts exploring the area, making his way through the deteriorating wooden structures, showing his viewers the eerie surroundings before searching for the perfect spot to set up camp for the night.
So you can see now the sun's starting to set behind me here. It's a very beautiful cotton candy color. And a new little toy that I bought for the Alone series that I think will come in handy at least and relieve some of the paranoia while I'm sleeping is I bought these little motion sensors. So this is just like your standard convenience store motion sensor. I think it said it did infrared as well as motion. I'm not 100% sure. I will be keeping this receiver in my tent here and moving this sensor to outside. And you can see,
hello, welcome.
When it detects motion, it'll give off this that little chime. So if any animal or any person or anything comes in the middle of the night, I will be able to wake up and deal with the situation before they sort of see me.
He pitches his tent and talks about the new gear he's brought along, gear he thought would make the adventure easier. Little did he know that gear would soon become a factor in a much darker experience. The mine has a grim history. Many people have died here, and rumors of hauntings are widespread. Adding to the unease, the location is off limits, and trespassing is illegal. While Brendan believed his gear would help him settle in, it could end up making things worse. Not seeing any immediate danger, he begins preparing his meal. But then, something unsettling happens.
Well, I was unaware of this until now, but apparently I lost one of my water bottles on the hike up, and that was my cooking / auxiliary water. For that reason, I was rationing to the account of 2 water bottles, and now all I have left for the night cooking along with the hike home is water, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's up to here. So our water situation is pretty dire, and I'm starting to feel the side effects of dehydration. I'm going to have to, unfortunately, I guess, scrap dinner and just pray for breakfast, that I'll have enough water left over for breakfast in the morning, and I don't think I'm going to have any for the hike home. It's supposed to drop down to about 9 tonight, but I have a winterized sleeping system, which I'm kind of regretting now because I don't want to be sweating, because I don't want to be losing water that I need. So yeah, this is going to be one fun.
With no food, water, or any means to call for help, Brendan is faced with a grim reality. To conserve energy and minimize his need for water during the long hike back, he decides to cut the evening short. He retreats to his tent, hoping to rest after the exhausting day. Signing off with his viewers, Brendan settles in, expecting a peaceful night's sleep, but of course, that's not what the night holds for him.
I'm starting to think the motion sensors weren't the greatest idea. It went off once and creeped me out, and I went to go check on it. Unfortunately, I didn't film, but now it's silent. But the fact that it just went off one singular time and then now it's been silent for 45 minutes is something. It's like skating down the stairs. I don't know what that was, but we're gonna check it out. Whatever it was, it came from downstairs. It sounded like something dropped and fell down the stairs. Could just be the old building. Was this tube always here? Of course, now that I go to investigate, I don't hear anything. Sounds like maybe an animal. I can't say for certain, though.
Brendan steels himself as he ventures into the dark, decaying hallways of the mine, scanning the darkness with his camera light. The eerie silence is broken only by the creaking of the old wooden floors beneath his feet and his heavy breathing, which betrays his growing unease. He tries to calm himself, rationalizing that the noises are likely from animals or something harmless. But deep down, he knows something is off.
Okay, that was a rat. But what was over here?
Suddenly, the detection monitor goes off again, confirming that he isn't alone. Panicking, Brendan makes a split-second decision to climb the stairs and retreat to the room where he set up his tent, locking the door behind him. He hopes it will provide some security. Crawling into his tent, he feels a fleeting sense of safety, but that comfort won't last long.
I've had enough noises, I've had enough spooks, scares. Now that I've investigated the basement, I don't know, it doesn't seem there's anything. It might just be the building. Who knows? I passed my motion sensor on the way in, it went off, so I'm happy to know that it works. And yeah, hopefully now I can get some sleep. It's been like on and off. I've been getting like little segments here and there of rest, but hopefully now I can actually just close my eyes and fall asleep, rest up for the long hike home tomorrow.
Hello, welcome. Hello, welcome. Hello, welcome.
Okay.
Hello, welcome.
Okay, that's like the third time the motion sensor outside has gone off. I think it's like 3:30 in the morning. I haven't gotten much sleep at all. I've been listening to this. I just have podcasts in my ear just to kind of like drone out some of the noise, but it just makes okay, that I think we need to go investigate that, because I know I closed all the doors, so that concerns me a little. Hearing a slam like that. I don't know if my camera.
The noises intensify, the sensor goes off again, and now the doors begin to slam. It's clear that something, or someone, is out there. With no choice but to investigate, Brendan steels himself for what might be waiting. With each step, his heart races, making every movement feel more difficult.
But I have the motion sensor set right there. You can see it's going off because I'm here now. But what was setting it off earlier? Maybe I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna move it inside in case it's like a squirrel or something. Okay, I'm trying to be weary about noise discipline here. Or light discipline, because it's not windy. And all of these doors are closed. Well, except for this one, but this one's not budging. As you can see, it's like stuck there. It'd take a lot to move these ones. But it sounded like it was one of these doors. That's so bizarre, they're all closed. Like, this night just keeps getting weirder and weirder.
To his shock, all the doors in the hallway are now closed, despite being sure he heard slamming sounds coming from this very area. The horrifying thought of someone, or something, watching him in this decaying building sends chills down his spine. Without cell phone service, Brendan realizes that if things go wrong, it could quickly become a life-or-death situation. Desperate to regain a sense of safety, he heads back to his room, locks the door, and retreats to his tent. But before he can even settle in, more noises and a faint light outside catch his attention.
I swear I just heard the lock click. I don't want to have any lights. I'm going to get my camera. Check it out. I don't think there's anyone out there. It looked like there was light shining on the balcony, but I think it's just the moonlight. I really hope there's not someone creeping out there. Because if they're out here this late, they're up to no good.
Staying low, Brendan peers through the window, scanning the area outside for any signs of movement or people, but there's nothing in sight. At this point, enough is enough. Brendan kicks off his shoes, crawls into his sleeping bag, and lies there, anxiously waiting for daylight. And thankfully, it comes. As the dawn breaks, Brendan feels a little more at ease. Everything seems less menacing in the daylight, and the once unnerving sounds are now more tolerable. However, the toll of the sleepless night is apparent, and fatigue is setting in. Wanting to regain some energy for the long hike back, he decides to make breakfast and log in with his viewers.
That was the last of my water supply, so I hope I can manage the hike back. But I'm hoping maybe I can find a natural spring or something on the way. I got maybe 3-4 hours of sleep, so I got more than usual at least. And I think, honestly, just being dehydrated played into that a lot, and it let my mind kind of wander where I'm usually pretty stable and stoic mentally in these situations. I think it only got down to about 9 degrees, which is still pretty cold, so you never really know what you're going to get. But I'm just happy for the night to be over, and I can't wait to get out of here.
Though still shaken by the events of the night, Brendan is relieved that it's finally over. After finishing breakfast, he packs up his gear and begins the long trek back to his car. Along the way, he mentions that this is an experience he will never forget. But one question still lingers. Who was out there with him that night? The strange noises, the slamming doors. It couldn't have been just animals, could it? Was it the restless spirit of a miner who died there? Or was someone out there, silently watching him the entire time? This mystery remains unsolved, and it's a chilling reminder of how easily we can take our safety for granted. Just as Brendan did, things could have ended far worse. Before we dive in, I'd really appreciate it if you took a moment to subscribe to the channel and become part of this amazing community. About 95% of you watching aren't subscribed. It's completely free. Now, let's get back to the video. Frank is a well-known filmmaker and YouTuber who dives into heart-pounding adventures. His YouTube channel, Franco TV, takes viewers through shocking, unpredictable encounters, whether in abandoned houses or the deep woods. On August 13th, 2024, he set out to thrill his fans with another experience, but this time, the true thrill might be lurking in the dark, and it could be far more terrifying than expected.
Thank you for watching Franco TV. So I've just made it into yet again another dangerous part of town, but this is how I like it. I am so happy to be back in the zone right now, but I have to be very, very careful because there's a lot of thieves and a lot of choros and bandits all over this place. But I've made it into the abandoned mansion area, and as you can see, it's pretty empty and secluded. I hope nobody's living through here, which I don't think there is, but I have a new location that I haven't taken you guys to, and it's like a castle-like house or something of the sorts, and I think it's right through here.
From the moment Frank entered the mansion, it was clear that it had recently been abandoned. There was no electrical power, and the place was filled with doors and windows. The doors had handprints and bloodstains, suggesting that others had been there recently and likely experienced something bizarre.
I'm getting nervous, so I'm starting to get a little bit hot. something is being done here. Oh, what is this? Ropes? That looks like a robe. I don't know for what. This place has a lot of weird things going on with it. You can tell a lot of people been here with the handprints. Looks like little kid hands. See it? Is that blood? Red stuff on the window.
As Frank continued exploring the house, he discovered a room with 3 doors. 2 of the doors were blocked with iron bars, and one was locked while the other was open, offering easy access.
There's doors everywhere. This is the room I wanted to check out originally. Oh, what the hell? Wait. I'm not seeing this right. Why are these things like barred in there? It looks like a dungeon or something.
Behind the open door were blood-stained handprints on the wall, and the room had a strong, unpleasant smell. There was also a small container with contents that defied explanation.
And there's red stains on the door. And there's more suspicious red stains on the wall. What the hell is that? What scares me with this is that this definitely looks like real blood. And this too. Looks like somebody was like putting their bloody hand around the wall, like they were waiting in here for a while. But what's even more interesting is this. What the hell is this? If you guys have any idea what this is, let me know. But this is disgusting. It even stinks in this room.
Things got even more interesting as Frank found more doors and objects to explore. He stumbled upon an active toy on the floor, which seemed to suggest the presence of a child in the house. He then noticed a shocking inscription on the wall, written in Spanish, Ahora me quieren matar, which translates to, "Help me, they are going to kill me."
Holy shit, this thing just went off. I want to make sure nobody walked in here. Ayúdame. Quieren matar.
As Frank picked up the toy and moved it to a different spot in the room, he turned off his flashlight and switched to night vision. In the eerie darkness, he saw a disturbing silhouette near the toy. The figure stared at him for a moment, before swiftly disappearing. Frank's mind struggled to understand what he had just witnessed. Was it a spirit, a demon, or something far darker? The toy, once a mere plaything, now seemed to be the catalyst for a terrifying encounter. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Frank stepped outside for some fresh air and a brighter light to better understand the silhouette.
Looking at a window from the outside here. And if I look right over there, I literally just saw a head peeking out. Right from that window. Somebody was just staring at me. Is it moving? There's something there. And there's like a little light in the back room. There's not supposed to be anybody here, but there's a light there. Make sure I'm not being stared at from any of the other windows. Look at that. What the hell is that? Alright, I don't know what I'm looking at here, but I'm going to keep moving as normal. There's something in that back room, but I'm not going to...
But every new step inside the house seemed to reveal even more terror.
Oh, I just saw an arm really low to the ground just push the door open. What the fuck? Hola?
He found something that sent chills down his spine. Approaching a door, he tried to investigate but couldn't find anything. So he decided to shut the door and wait, hoping to see if the hand that had previously closed it would open it again. The door was sticky, and Frank soon confirmed that the handprint from earlier was bloodstained. He attempted to lure whatever was in the house, but nothing seemed to work.
I want to see if the door opens again. Hola. ¿Quieres abrir la puerta? Do you want to open the door?
His search continued until he made his way to the backyard, only to discover something far more sinister. Through the window, his camera caught a glimpse of a little girl spying on him. At that moment, Frank became convinced that the creature was a human child, trying to avoid being seen while running around the house.
Here is the big window. What the hell is that? Oh, shit.
Unfortunately, Frank couldn't continue with his investigation. A security reminder informed him that his time had run out. He also learned from the locals and the security guard that there were rumors of a child haunting the mansion.
So I kind of have some bad news. I'm on a time constraint with this location. I just spoke with the security guy. I wanted to be able to go into this room to kind of explore it, but the problem is that I had exhausted all my time in the other location because of the things that I was getting. And I did talk to the security about the child that I was seeing, and he was like, no, there is reports of kids. I've seen it too. Like, the guy has seen the child inside the mansion. That's not the first time. I've seen it. I've seen a kid inside this area. I don't know if you guys remember this area with the tunnel.
The theories from viewers and subscribers began to form, with some suggesting that the child might be a spirit or a demon due to the fast movements, blood traces, and the child's sudden disappearances throughout Frank's journey. With so many unanswered questions and eerie evidence, the mystery of the child in the mansion remains unsolved. The encounter may have been spine-chilling, but Frank's time was up, leaving the mystery lingering. For this eerie exploration, we travel all the way to France to join one of the Netherlands' most popular YouTubers, Stefan. Stefan is widely known for his entertaining content, capturing everything from challenges and daily adventures to fun moments with his friends, all of which he shares on his channel, Stefan Dev. However, every so often, his videos take a darker turn. Stefan has a fascination with the paranormal and the mysteries of the unknown, occasionally venturing into abandoned and haunted places in search of chilling truths. This time, however, Stefan was about to push the limits further than ever before. He planned to camp inside one of France's most haunted locations, joined by his close friend Sasha and his cameraman Stein. Together, they set out to uncover the secrets of this cursed place. Little did they know, their nightmarish adventure wouldn't end because of ghosts. It was July 30th, 2023, a warm summer evening as the trio began their exploration. Their destination? The infamous Verdun Forest, also known as the Cursed Forest of Verdun. This foreboding woodland carries a chilling reputation rooted in history. During World War I, it was the site of the brutal Battle of Verdun in 1916, one of the deadliest and most devastating battles in history. The intense conflict left the land scarred with destruction, littered with unexploded ordnance, and tragically, human remains. For over a century, locals have whispered about ghostly apparitions of fallen soldiers wandering through the trees, unable to find peace. Driven by curiosity, Stefan, Sasha, and Stein were determined to uncover whether the chilling stories were true. They were ready for ghosts, but they couldn't prepare for the real horrors awaiting them deep within the cursed forest.
Are we ready?
Are we ready?
Want dit is al lang geleden. Dat is zo'n soort van... Het is wel echt een avontuur weer.
Ja, avontuur en ook echt iets wat we nog nooit op deze manier gedaan hebben. In het wild kamperen.
Alleen dat is al eng.
Dat is überhaupt, al doe je dat hier in de, weet ik veel, op de Veluwe is dat al eng. Maar dan is het ook nog een gebied waar superveel soldaten zijn overleden.
Oh mijn god. Oké, nou. Laten we even een tent halen.
Tent, slaapzakken, let's go.
As they explain their plan to their viewers, Stefan and his friends admit something surprising. They'd never been camping before, and the idea already had them feeling uneasy. But first, they needed to gather supplies. The trio ventured to a nearby store, picking up tents and sleeping bags to prepare for their adventure.
Ingang is gewoon letterlijk een teken dat we dit gewoon moeten kopen.
Dit is wel nice, hier kan je ook gewoon met z'n drieën.
Dit kan letterlijk niet fout gaan. Ik ben nog nooit zo voorbereid ergens heen gegaan, volgens mij.
Now fully equipped, they began their 3-hour drive to their destination, the Verdun Forest. After the long drive, they finally arrived at the infamous forest. Night had already fallen, wrapping the eerie landscape in thick, foreboding darkness. And that's when they caught something unsettling.
Lord, what the fuck? What the hell? Wat is dit? Waarom loop jij hier? Holy shit. Hè? What the fuck?
Heb je dat erop staan? Ja, denk het lijkt me wel.
Hij had een heel raar loopje.
Het is donker.
Het is letterlijk dikke donker hier zo. Gaat hij daar staan lopen?
Kijk vooruit. Je ziet letterlijk niks. Hij loopt zonder licht daar.
Hij liep ook deze kant op. Hij liep ook deze kant op. Bro, als zo'n guy ineens naast je tent staat.
Dat bedoel ik, er lopen hier mensen s'nachts zo.
Dat is helemaal fucked.
While driving deeper into the forest, they noticed someone wandering aimlessly near the tree line, a lone figure that seemed out of place. The unsettling sight weighed on their minds. Who else would be out here at this hour? The idea that they might not be alone in these woods stirred a mixture of fear and alertness among the group. The deeper they drove into the forest, the darker and more claustrophobic it became. It felt as though the dense trees were closing in around them. Finally, they parked their car and stepped out into the night air. The moment their feet touched the ground, an unsettling feeling crept over them.
Ik hoor ook nu alweer takken breken.
Ja.
Echt? Ja.
Ja, daar.
Ja, ik ook daar ergens.
Haal het nog op. Waarom zit er een
Goh, kijk, hier heb je ook al die kraters in. Hè?
Oh ja.
Kijk. Kijk dit fucking bos aan.
Ah, muggen.
Dit bos is echt koud.
Maar hier is dus nog zo'n vork.
Hier, dit is...
Geen bereik ook, weet je.
Nee, serieus.
0.
Echt?
0, ja, alles is weg.
As they realized their phones had no service, the unease grew, knowing that if something were to happen, help would be far out of reach. Despite their growing anxiety, they pushed forward, venturing deeper into the haunting woods, determined to find an old fort rumored to be hidden within. But when they finally arrived, something strange occurred.
Kijk, de IMF. Was jij dat? Oh. Hij was net helemaal op zijn max.
Hè? Hoe kan dat? zitten één stap op dit ding.
Ik zeg net nog letterlijk van, er is hier geen straling in het bos.
Nee. Goos, we hebben niet eens bereikt. Kijk, het is gewoon weg. Het is gewoon weg.
Oh god.
Oh. Wat de fuck gebeurt er?
Vleermuis geschoten.
Ja, echt?
Ja, geschoten.
Oh mijn god, zo schrok zich geen normaal.
Ik dacht dat iemand zo kwam opeens.
Was het weer zo'n fucking vleermuis?
Ja, weer een vleermuis. Jesus Christ, ha. Oh mijn god, kijk hoe
Zo, dit ding gaat helemaal los houden. Hij zat op 5 net. What the...
Grap. Dit zie ik echt met
Hoe dan?
Unsettled by what they believed to be contact from something unseen, the boys decided it was time to set up their tent. They needed a secure base before delving further into their investigation. After pitching the tent, they placed a REM pod outside to monitor for any disturbances. But no sooner had the tent been secured than the REM pod activated again, suggesting they weren't as alone as they had hoped.
Ga weg. Maar dat kan ik toch niet zo vanaf hier?
Stond je daar?
Ik stond hier.
Ja. Oh my god. Oh mijn god.
God, precies als we de tent uitgaan begint hij. Oké, nou dat was de enige enge wat nog niet gebeurd was dat. Oké.
Laten we eventjes een rondje gaan maken.
Maar laten we deze hier. Nemen we die ook mee?
Feeling tense and needing to clear their heads, the group decided to take a short walk around the area, leaving the tent and REM pod behind. However, the peaceful stroll they had hoped for turned into something far more unnerving.
Who's daar?
Ik hoorde dat shit daar, man. Hoor je? Ja, check dan, check.
The boys heard unsettling noises coming from a direction near the campsite. Stefan pointed his flashlight toward the source, and that's when they saw it. A person sprinting away from a tree. The moment it realized it had been spotted, the chilling realization hit the boys hard. They weren't alone, and worse, they were being watched. Panic took over as they raced back to the campsite, hurriedly grabbing their tent and equipment, desperate to escape. But even as they fled, safety wasn't guaranteed.
Sleutel. Hou je bek.
Maar zag je, wat de fuck was dat?
Heb ik mijn autosleutels niet?
Nee, donder op.
Ik zie je.
Nee, donder op, dat kan niet.
Hij zat in deze zak.
Ja, ik ga daar echt niet. Ik ga er niet terug.
Zit in je buidel van je trui? In jouw tas misschien?
Ik wil echt niet, maar serieus, ik wil echt niet terug die kant op.
Oké, kom maar kijken. Pak het in. Toch? Daar was je erg blij mee. Oké, zullen we gewoon daarheen rennen?
Ja, is goed.
Ik wil een beetje lopen. Kijk die ogen. Oh mijn god, wat is dit? Ja, het komt hier weg. Dat is een pop. Oh ja. Die kan ook vals zijn, maar... Zag je die ogen? Ja, daar loopt hij. Oh mijn god, ik zag het even open.
Nee, maar misschien was dat gewoon wat een vraag.
Jullie hebben gewoon die hele tent al gepakt. Ja, nu zie je hem. Zag je dat? Ja, ik denk op beeld ook. Oh, hij valt uit een kuttent. Oh shit.
Scrambling in the dark, the boys managed to find their car keys, and luckily, they found them again. Without hesitation, they jumped into the vehicle and drove out of the forest as fast as possible, opting for safety over confrontation with whoever was lurking among the trees. Shaken and defeated, the boys made the long 3-hour drive back to the Netherlands in the dead of night. Though exhausted, the thought of staying in that forest with unknown figures lurking in the darkness was far worse. The haunting experience left them unnerved, but one thing was certain: they wouldn't be returning to the Verdun forest anytime soon. This video was captured by Brendan, a well-known explorer you might recognize from his YouTube channel, Uncharted Travel. Renowned for his calm and composed demeanor, Brendan isn't easily shaken and has a deep passion for exploring forgotten places. For over 8 years, his channel has documented countless adventures, taking viewers along as he uncovers the hidden mysteries within decaying structures, all while capturing every moment on camera. For this particular journey, we join Brendan on the night of October 31st, 2019, a cold winter evening. But the chilling temperatures do little to deter him from embarking on yet another daring exploration. His destination? An old, isolated, and abandoned prison deep in the northern wilderness of Canada. It's the kind of place most people would avoid, especially at night. But Brendan is doing the exact opposite. Not only does he plan to explore the eerie ruins, but he's also decided to spend the night there. With his gear packed, including a tent, he loads up his car and sets off on a grueling 6-hour drive toward the prison.
Essentially what I'm doing today, I'm going to be traveling about 6 hours north to an isolated prison in the middle of nowhere in Canada. I'm going to be going alone, and I'm going to be staying the night. The only people I've actually seen out this far are reservists, so that's a little bit concerning. Hopefully there's no one around where I plan on parking.
After a long journey, Brendan finally arrives. He parks his car, grabs his equipment, and prepares for the next leg of his trip, a 2-hour trek through dense wilderness to reach the isolated prison. As he pushes through the thick undergrowth, the anticipation builds. At last, he arrives at the abandoned structure and steps inside, searching for a suitable location to set up camp. Once he finds the perfect spot, he pitches his tent as the evening darkness begins to settle in. To make himself comfortable, Brendan starts a small campfire, but as he glances at his phone, a sinking realization washes over him. No service. He's completely cut off from the outside world. The nearest civilization is several hundred kilometers away. He is, quite literally, in a dead zone. Despite the unsettling isolation, he shakes off his unease, prepares a simple dinner, and decides to explore more of the prison, heading towards an area he hadn't ventured into earlier that day. As Brendan carefully navigates the prison's decaying hallways, the dim glow of his flashlight casts long, eerie shadows around him. The air is damp, the silence oppressive, broken only by the occasional creak of the old structure. Every step deepens the tension, an unspoken hope lingering in his mind that nothing unsettling will happen. But then, a loud clatter shatters the silence. A tin can tumbles across the floor, the sound reverberating through the empty corridors. Startled, Brendan whips around, heart pounding. He scans the darkness but sees nothing. Swallowing his fear, he presses forward. As he continues, the noises intensify. It's hard to tell whether they're merely echoes of dripping water bouncing through the halls or something far more sinister. Refusing to let paranoia take hold, Brendan steadies his nerves and pushes on toward his intended destination, the boiler room. Upon arrival, he carefully surveys the area, documenting every eerie detail for his viewers. He shares the history of the space and its unsettling atmosphere before deciding to wrap up and return to his campsite.
Oh, now this is creepy. Definitely gonna have to change socks tomorrow.
As he retraces his steps, the unsettling silence is shattered once again.
There's something at the end of the hallway that keeps making noise. Where it came from, this room at the end.
A loud, dragging noise echoes from the last room at the end of the hallway. The sound sends chills down his spine, a clear indication that he may not be as alone as he initially believed. Summoning his courage, Brendan cautiously makes his way toward the source, determined to uncover the truth. But just as he reaches the doorway, the noise abruptly stops. Was someone playing tricks on him, or was something else lurking in the darkness? The experience leaves him deeply unsettled, and he wastes no time retreating to the relative safety of his campsite.
What a beautiful sight to behold. My crappy tent. I can't wait to just put on some dry socks and go to bed. It's been a long day.
Brendan finally arrives back at his tent, slipping off his damp shoes and crawling inside, ready for a much-needed rest after a long night of exploring. But little does he know, sleep will not come easily.
I keep hearing something outside. Sounds like it's in the corridor, one of the corridors. Maybe an animal, I don't know. Of course now it's... Did you hear that? I hope that mic picked that up. Okay, let me get my shoes on. We're checking this out.
As soon as he settles in, the eerie noises outside intensify. Thoughts race through his mind. Could it be an animal? Or worse, a person following him? Known for his bravery, Brendan decides to investigate.
Fox earlier, so maybe it was one of his buddies. It sounded literally just out in this hallway. Okay. The thing is, there's so many different sounds that come from these hallways. You can't tell what's what.
Scanning the area carefully, he finds nothing out of the ordinary. Convincing himself that it's just his imagination, he returns to his tent, removes his wet shoes once again, and burrows into his sleeping bag. To block out the unsettling sounds, he puts on his headphones, hoping to find some peace.
I'm finally gonna head to bed. It's about 1:30 in the morning, and it's gotten down to about 0 degrees, so it's rather chilly. But luckily this sleeping bag is actually pretty good, so I'm fairly warm, and hopefully I'll see you in the morning.
Brendan logs off for the night, puts away his camera, and attempts to fall asleep. But just as he begins to relax, a sudden jarring noise pierces the night, jolting him to full alertness.
And this place makes so much noise, like when you can't discern raindrops from wind, from animals, from scratches, from whatever. It messes with your mind, man. It's so hard to sleep here. But I'm gonna try. It's really late and I'm really tired.
The unsettling sounds become harder to ignore. The realization that he is miles from civilization only amplifies the fear creeping in. For over half an hour, Brendan listens intently, straining to determine the source of the noises. Eventually, he tries once more to sleep, but his peace is shattered yet again. This time, there is no mistake. Someone or something is out there.
Holy, there's a coyote outside. Right outside my tent. Hey buddy, you want to leave me alone? It's gonna be a long night. I just want to go to sleep. Go away! Go away!
Frustrated rather than frightened, Brendan calls out in an attempt to scare off whatever is lurking in the darkness. But instead of dispersing, the sounds grow closer. Soon, he recognizes them, coyotes, a pack of them. And given his isolation,
There's something growling at me. I got my bear mace. Get my knife. I'm guessing it's on the lower level, on the second floor, beneath me. Oh my god. There's a pack of coyotes out in the woods over there. Wow. Let's just hope to God they don't come up here.
this could turn into a dangerous situation fast. Armed with his knife, Brendan cautiously steps outside, prepared to defend himself. Fortunately, by the time he emerges from his tent, the coyotes have already retreated deeper into the forest. Relieved but still on edge, he decides to wait out the rest of the night until morning.
So we made it through the night. In case any of you were wondering, yes, the night sucked. As soon as I tried going to bed, I heard, it sounded like human footsteps, just scraping across the floor. But it turned out to be just a pack of coyotes, so that was pretty sweet. They were stalking me, and then after a little while, I heard them cackling, and then I realized it was sounded like a jackal or coyote. I'll just use coyote for ease of term. But yeah, they started circling, and I was in the tent in the cafeteria, and they started circling the tent, and they just kept circling, and they kept getting closer and closer. So then I was like, all right, I've had enough of this. So I grabbed my knife and I barged out the front door, and I kind of fended them off. I started yelling at them and scared them away. And then 5 minutes later, they were circling again, circling around the tent. So then I scared them off again. And every time, this happened maybe one or two more times, and every time they'd come back, they'd get more and more bold, and they'd get more and more close, which I definitely did not like. Being alone, it just added a whole another level of fear for me. Unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of this on camera because I was just trying to stay safe at the time, because this was like the first time I actually felt like I was in danger. And then as soon as they started rubbing up against my tent, that's when I called it. So I scared them off one last time. I packed up my things and I ran pretty much threw everything in like a bindle in the tent, and then I ran up the stairs and lost the coyotes, and thankfully made it up to the roof, barricaded the roof door so that they couldn't get up, which luckily held them off for the whole night. But then as soon as I got my camp set up here, I heard them on the second story. They were looking for me. They were walking up and down the hallways trying to find me, and I was trying to keep so quiet not to alert them or anything like that. I was exhausted. It was like 3 a.m. at this point, 4 a.m. maybe. And my stomach, because I hadn't eaten pretty much anything, my stomach started grumbling. And just then I started hearing growling, like vicious growling. And that's when I knew they were not there to be friendly. And the growling sounded like it was coming from a foot behind my head. So I grabbed my knife, grabbed a flashlight, bust out the tent again, and I realized that the coyote is directly beneath me on the second story, growling up at me, trying to figure out where I am. So I spent pretty much the next hour or so awake listening to them stalking me in the hallway. And I don't know if you guys have ever been hunted before, but it kind of sucks. So it was kind of scary. I was honestly terrified that they'd break through my barricade and
As daylight finally breaks, Brendan reflects on the events of the night, recounting his harrowing experience to his viewers. He expresses gratitude for making it through unscathed and emphasizes the hidden dangers of camping alone in remote locations. This night serves as a sobering reminder of the unpredictable challenges that can arise in the wilderness. Thankfully, Brendan makes it out safely, continuing to share his incredible adventures with his loyal audience. And that wraps up our look at the 5 most disturbing abandoned building encounters caught on camera. Whether it's ghostly figures, unexplained noises, or encounters with something far more sinister, these chilling moments remind us that some places should never be explored alone. If you enjoyed this creepy journey into the unknown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a terrifying story